Thursday, September 26th. Welcome to the Damon Brews Show, brought to you by Ike Sandwiches. It is fantastic to have you back here. I understand that there are probably some people watching this live stream right now in the parking lot of the Oakland Coliseum, getting ready for the final Oakland A's home game until, well, maybe next year when everything falls apart and they're back. But look, we'll get to that in a second. Obviously, we're going to start with the 49ers, but it is great having you here. Thank you so much for stopping on by. Please hit like and subscribe and get this live stream officially creeping across the algorithm. Appreciate that as always when you do that. And look, the German vacation has begun. Okay, the trip to Germany is maybe where an awful lot of this 49ers season turns. This is how important this is. Feels like a great portion of the 49ers' chances of success are sitting in some German doctor's office waiting room. An undisclosed, unknown, has yet to be identified German doctor, by the way, if you don't mind me saying. I saw that Kyle Shanahan said, I'm not sure what doctor it is. I know he's going to see a specialist that I believe can help with this Achilles process. I think he's going to go over the next few days, and hopefully it will help. Look, the timeline of this entire thing has been incredibly strange on Christian McCaffrey, to the point where the whole thing's so strange that if you told me, hey, really what they want to do is just stockpile him until they really need him later in the year. So they gave him the month of September off and said, why don't you even go to, Germany for Oktoberfest? Have a little fun. Get back here in November and we'll start using you then. Maybe he's at Oktoberfest. Maybe he is in a Munich beer hall, beer tent, wearing lederhosen, yodeling, and everything's going to be fine. Or maybe he doesn't play again. I don't know. This whole thing is really, really weird. He flew to Germany this past weekend to see a specialist for his Achilles tendonitis, his calf tightness. It's plagued him since August. And look, not sure about what procedure is available over there that isn't available over here anymore. That whole Kobe knee platelets spinning thing, that they do that over here now. You don't have to go to Germany for that anymore. Maybe if they got the best ass man over there for your Seinfeld episode, ass man, if they got the best Achilles guy, over there, is that what's going on here? It's really weird. It's really, really weird that he's got to go to Germany to figure this out. And if it was that dramatic of a situation, like, why wasn't it addressed earlier? Why? Look at it this way. Did the 49ers give Christian McCaffrey the proper medical examination when they agreed to his new 2-year extension for $38 million with $24 guaranteed? Like, did they even bother looking at him, or did they just say, well, hey, we love the guy. He's our reigning offensive player of the year, so of course we're going to sign him. I mean, did they even take a look? This feels like something that didn't just creep up or pop up. Yet it went from Christian McCaffrey is in camp to Christian McCaffrey is, not really participating in team drills. He's limited. And then, of course, as the season rolls along, you didn't really expect to see him in any of the preseason games. So his absence never felt like anything more than just, an abundance of caution, which a lot of people prescribe to the NFL's preseason these days. And that abundance of caution also leads to a lot of shitty football in the first 4 or 5 weeks of the year. I can't help but notice. But anyway, it went from Christian is, he's dealing with this calf thing. And then the calf thing metamorphed into an Achilles thing, it developed into the Achilles thing. And then it went right up to very late scratch in week 1. Did they really think that he was going to be playing on Saturday before week 1? And then Sunday comes, and then you got till Monday, and it's a late scratch for Christian McCaffrey on Monday Night Football. Again, it's hard to take the Niners word for what they say they believe, knew when they know. The whole Jordan Mason awkward media moment after Monday Night Football seemed to spring from people wanting to know what Mason knew when he knew it, what McCaffrey knew when he knew it, when the team really knew what it was going to do with Christian McCaffrey. Like, the whole thing is just so screamingly odd compared to how injuries are normally rolled out and doled out and treated and dealt with around the NFL. So it's a very peculiar situation, to say the least. And what becomes of it, I don't know. I don't know. If you're telling me that he comes back from Germany and in a couple weeks from now he's right back in the lineup, I guess I would believe you. If you told me that he didn't play again this entire year, I would believe you there too. If you told me that he was just drowning himself in sauerbraten and kielbasi, well, I guess that's more Polish, but just a whole bunch of great German mustard and sausages, I would say that's great. I hope he is doing that. Is he going to play football again this year? I think the 49ers can be a good team, whether he plays or doesn't play. I don't think they can be a great team without him. Nathaniel's saying, hey, Damon, it's a sad day for us A's fans. It doesn't seem real. I hear you. It's a sad day for A's fans. It's a sad day for the Bay. It's a sad day for Major League Baseball. It's a sad day for anyone with a moral compass and a heart. I knew someone would be watching. Damon, I'm at the A's game, rolling a blunt right now. Roll it up and burn it down, baby. Roll it up and burn it down. Don't do that to the actual Coliseum. Just do that to your blunt. I knew Der Kaiser and Der Gilroy was going to like today's thumbnail with the German flag on it. Ja wollte mein Herr. By the way, I started a little late in this live stream because I was upstairs filling up the old coffee. Sip of the day right there. That was perfect. That's as good a coffee sip as I've had all week. So the Christian McCaffrey German vacation is going to go a long way to determining what the rest of this season looks like. Pretty scary. Pretty scary that that's what's happening. I mean, historically, there's not a lot of good news out of Germany. Look, I don't want to continue to just like lord World War II over you, but when you do that, people do tend to bring it up over and over again. But it's a very odd situation surrounding one of the most impactful players in the entire sport. Again, I think the 49ers can be good without Christian McCaffrey. I don't know if they're going to get great. I do know it doesn't really matter what Christian McCaffrey have if you don't start solving things out defensively. And I guess that brings us to our other story here today about the 49ers that, they're trying to fill that hole left by Hargrave. And that injury that is shutting down his season. Well, Shaquille Brown, who was in training camp with the 49ers, but was cut down, is now back with the team and on the practice squad. And it is not a stretch of the imagination to think that Shaquille Brown or T.Y. McGill, who's been on the practice squad, could be called up and be playing, getting snaps Sunday against the New England Patriots. It's not out of the realm of possibility. So expect something to maybe happen there. The other bit of news about Niners injuries that I think you have to categorize as good news is the fact that George Kittle is back at practice, limited, sure. But back at practice is good. Back at practice is officially good. Good news is there. We have Dr. Brandon Deacons. I don't know if you're a doctor or not, but you're playing one on this live stream. He says, and thank you for the super chat, by the way, Brandon. There's a bone marrow stem cell procedure Germany uses that isn't approved here. Optimistic he's receiving that in hopes of strengthening the Achilles. So remember, if you were watching this stream last football season, one of my sponsors was Dr. Paul Hughes, and Dr. Paul Hughes is at the cutting edge of cellular replacement therapy. He did a little cellular therapy in my knee, and my knee still feels better for it. He wanted to use my bone marrow, but I said, well, before we start extracting bone marrow, let's go ahead and just try to suck some of my DNA out of my fat cells. And he did that. But bone marrow was an option here too. I don't think you need to go to Germany for that procedure. But look, I don't know. I'm certainly not a doctor, Brandon. I don't know if you are or under, but it's weird. Damon, brats. That's what you were thinking of for German sausages. Yes, the brats. Everybody likes the brats. There's no way to frame any element of 49ers football since the day of the draft. Like I thought the 49ers had a pretty good draft. I like their draft. That's been the high watermark of the 2024 season. And unless they use some player other than Dominic Pooney starting soon, I don't know how great I'm going to feel about that draft day. So I really hope that this team can turn around not only just the way it's playing. This is a little like in your feelings for my analysis. But look, the 49ers got to change the vibe. And the kids say, like, vibes, it's all about vibes. The 49ers got to start changing the vibe, and that's not going to happen with anything less than getting through a bad offensive line performance Sunday against the New England Patriots. This is Nick Bosa's weekend. It is Nick Bosa's weekend to remind everybody that he's one of the best players in this league defensively, or maybe we need to consider him being less than one of the best players in this league defensively. Fred Warner has absolutely popped and done everything you could ask of him. Javarius Ward feels like a little bit of a regression. Maybe you want to put that on the entire secondary, which everyone thought was going to be more of a strength this year. This defensive line has to get back to it. Let's see what... Let's see what anyone but Nick Bosa has across that defensive line, right? Get to the quarterback. Collapse pockets. More pressure. The perfect team is coming into town to allow those things to happen. So they need to happen. They absolutely need those things to happen. What else we got going on? Now we got some D'Antoni ran Kobe to the ground with the minutes he gave him. Kyle Shanahan runs CMC to the ground as well. What happened to Kobe after? Oh, let's not do that. Let's not do that yet. And I'm going to tell you, football players want to play more than basketball players want to play. Not Kobe. Kobe was a killer. He wanted to play. We know that. But Kobe's Achilles popped. There's a big difference between what Kobe went through and what Christian McCaffrey, I think, is going through. Damon, the 49ers were a great team last year, and we still couldn't get it done. Broken metronome. Hey, greatness doesn't mean you're about to win a championship. The 49ers were a great team. They just happened to run into a greater team, the greatest team of this current era. You know, it's not like the 49ers are just a bunch of inconsequential fuck-ups. They just ran into the biggest sledgehammer this sport has offered in a long time, the Kansas City Chiefs. And they were this close. It was this close. It was an overtime. We all know it. They blew it. They absolutely blew their best shot at a Super Bowl. It was last year. There it was. And they fucked it up. Will they get another chance to come back and make it right? I don't know. But right now, I'm not counting them out of anything. But depending on how they play this weekend, we'll start counting on whether or not we can really believe in them or not. We can count on a little Thursday night football. You feeling Thursday night football? Let's go over here and check out what's going on BetUS, boys and girls. First of all, right now on BetUS, you can sign up using promo code YouTube150 to get a 150% deposit match on your first deposit up to $2,000, then 125% on your next two deposits up to $2,000. But this is by checking out BetUS. And here is your Thursday nighter, which is going to get us underway here in week 4. We got Cowboys, we got Giants, we got Amazon Prime. We got a game that the network is absolutely sick it doesn't have, because this would have been just a ratings monster. Wait until you see how well Amazon Prime's numbers are tonight. Look, I don't love this number, but I am going to bang it. Here we go. -5.5. Sure, Cowboys feeling a little bit desperate. We'll take that. We're going to go over here. We're not going to go big. We're going to go $25. We're going to place the bet. Here we go. Boom. Wait, get out of there. Get out of here. I don't want to know what's this doing. Do you want to stop chatting? Yeah, I never wanted to chat. Go away. Go away. Confirm the bet. There we go. Boom. Just a little something. Sprinkle it on Thursday Night Football. Thanks to our friends at BetUS. Always bet responsibly. $25 is a loss. Whether that baby comes home or walks off the plank, we'll be able to live through it. Chef A, brutal loss of the A's. You went last night, Chef A. I was there too. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But thanks again to our partners at BetUS for sponsoring the live stream. And when it comes to sponsoring this channel, there is no one who has done more to help this channel thrive than this guy right here. And there's no one who is better prepared to make you a delicious sandwich than this gentleman right here, Ike. Get yourself to Ike Sandwiches. Do it now. Download his app, and I'm going to tell you that if you're not eating Ike today or on Friday, you certainly want to get to Ike's this Saturday, because now and every Saturday through October 5th, so this Saturday and next Saturday, you can get $3 off any sandwich at Ike's by using promo code SAT3. You can do that on the app. You can even use that in person when you order at Ike's. Unfortunately, unavailable at Santa Rosa, San Mateo, and Redwood City, but we love you, Ike. I actually talked to him just the other day. We were talking because he was in town. We were going to grab lunch, but we couldn't connect. But that's the guy right there. What a good person my man Ike is, and what a delicious sandwich he's got waiting for you. So go get yourself an Ike sandwich and do it quickly. I want to thank my buddies at the Dubliner. And we are all officially buddies now, including Johnny Gomes. My man Kenny at the Dubliner went to Petaluma, is from Petaluma, just like Johnny Gomes. They've all known each other since like the 4th grade. And so I got to watch the A's last night with Johnny Gomes in a nice suite that my boys at the Dubliner got for us. We had a great time. It was a lot of fun. It was an awful lot of fun. But it was also kind of the opposite of fun. A lot of people described going to these final A's games as like a funeral, and I get that, but to me, it's more like going to the wake, because the funeral is the final moment. And I don't even know if we're there in the final moment yet. I mean, watch the Major League Players Union basically say, yeah, we're not playing games at a minor league park up in Sacramento. And John Fisher come hat in hand to the new owners of the Coliseum and get maybe a better deal with them to stay than he would have gotten with the city of Oakland. I don't know. I don't think it's over yet. Like, I don't trust the A's any further than I could throw them. I don't. Whatever they say their plans are, the only thing I know is whatever they say their plans are, that shit never happens. And I'm still going to apply it to this situation. Although it really does feel and look like the ship is sailing, there is no ship that John Fisher cannot crash, scuttle. I believe in his ability to fuck up everything. And that is the best shot the A's have. Again, we got an awful lot of A's angst in the chat. And I hear you. Larry, hey, Kobe hurt his Achilles against the Warriors. Yeah, I remember. He came in, he shot those free throws, and then walked off the court. Thank you very much, Jason PDSI. We are to the Chiefs what the Bengals were to us in the 80s. You know, good enough to get to and lose a Super Bowl to a team that defines the time. Yeah, maybe that's where this tops out. I mean, that's a reality. Maybe that is where it tops out for this inception of the 49ers. But let's not go there yet. Again, everybody just wants to go straight to the sky is falling all the time. It's like people want to be the first to let everybody know, oh, the ship is sinking, as if you'll get credit for everyone reaching a lifeboat or something. It is way too early to declare any definitive anything about any NFL team. There is not a single definitive 3-0 team that I'm going to tell you right now, absolutely, they're going to the playoffs. They're 100% going to be in the Super Bowl in the play. I mean, you can't even do that with the Chiefs. You can't. There's way too much of a football season still in front of us. Greg Arjay. Did I get that right, Greg? I hope I did. Thank you very much for the super chat. Damon, sorry, the Queefs held our D all Super Bowl. Hey, you know what? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Here's the thing. When they beat your ass twice in the Super Bowl, you call them by their proper name. You don't get to joke around. You don't get to call them the Queefs. You actually should call them the Mr. Kansas City Chiefs. Show some respect to the man who's beaten you senseless, for goodness sakes. JP from the 510 just says, hey, man, I want to shout out Ike's for catering my company's corporate training. Now there are a bunch of SoCal residents who've experienced. I'm telling you, man, check out Ike's. Check out Ike's. If you're ordering for your office, check out Ike's Catering. You will be a hero. JP, thank you very much for the support. You support the channel by supporting the sponsors, by hitting like and subscribe, by possibly becoming a member. Yeah, Casa Grande. That's the high school. Casa Grande. Mark Graves. Johnny Gomes. Petaluma, baby. That's where Kenny's from. I had such a good time. By the way, if you want to have a really good time at a baseball game, go with a bunch of bartenders. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Michael says, Damon, I think Kyle does get a large portion of blame for his mistakes in the Super Bowl, but keeping it real, Kyle's had to overcome the officiating in Super Bowls. Mahomes, 17 interceptions overturned by penalties. Yes. Dude, holding has hurt the 49ers. There is no doubt. But here's the thing, heavy is the crown. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. And Kyle, the crown sits on his brow. So too much criticism, not enough criticism. It comes to him whether he wants it to or not, and he'll accept it. He gets it. Or if he has to throw his defensive coordinator under the bus, he'll also do that too. We got Roddy Richards, the one guy watching on Twitch. Thank you, Roddy. Dwight Freeney said on Jim Rome's podcast that Kyle Shanahan's play calling played a major role in the Falcons losing to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. It did. It did. I think that Kyle called some wrong plays on the way there, although it wasn't his play calling that gaffed away the 24-3 lead. I mean, at one point, I have never heard a single offensive or defensive coordinator get as much credit or blame for a Super Bowl as if the Falcons had no head coach that day. It's as if the Falcons didn't have a head coach who could have easily said to any play that was being relayed in, let's not do that. I mean, it's amazing how a head coach is responsible for all Super Bowl losses, except for the 1 year where Kyle was the offensive coordinator in one of the single greatest defensive collapses in Super Bowl history. Then it all ends up on Kyle. Like, it is a little odd that continues to still happen. I really got to tell you. Here's my man, Ike. I hope he's going to be good. Ike talking about Christian. I think he's talking about Christian McCaffrey. And I'll tell you, oh, look at there. Love you, JP. Thank you very much. Ike telling JP, way to go ahead. Way to go ahead and order that Ike's Catering. My man. Speaking of my man, there's Otis right there. Tom C's keeping hopes alive. Damon, that Jaguars-Bears Super Bowl still out there. Yeah, well, probably not. But I hear you. I hear you. Josh Tuck, Damon, you're very easy to dislike. Good. Do you really need another kiss in your ass trying so hard to be cute and be liked media member? I am the medicine that the sports world needs. You're welcome. Not all of this shit's supposed to be cute and fun. You're welcome. I will say this. There was maybe a 10, 12-year-old kid who came up to me on the BART platform last night as I was leaving. And by the way, A's fans, to every one of you who came out to me and said, thank you for talking about the team, for covering this story. It was great seeing you all last night. So many people came up to me. I gave hugs. I saw eyes welling up. I saw tears in people's eyes. This 10-year-old kid on the BART platform says, I miss you on the radio, but I really like watching you on YouTube. And then his mother, who was down there, waved at me, and I was like, this is your kid. It was really, really cute. And I thought, geez, I need to use better language. I got this adorable 10-year-old kid watching me. That was rough last night. It really was. It was like going to a wake at the Coliseum. It was like going to a wake. This is what you got. If there's anything you want to know about A's ownership, this is what they're giving everyone who walks in the final home stand of the year. 56 years, and you get a bookmark. 2 colors. 2-color print. No hologram, no cool authentication, nothing other than the bare minimum. Look at that. 56 years, and this is what you get, City of Oakland. Do you need to know anything more about this group? This is it. This is their final souvenir. In the history of Oakland, they couldn't do better than order something that this costs under a dime per unit when you order, 30, 50,000 of them, whatever they ordered. Look at this. Have you ever seen a more pathetic memorial giveaway? I mean, this thing might have well just said, we don't give a shit about you, your family, your feelings, any of your memories. Fuck you forever, John Fisher. It would have been more honest if it had said that. Look at that. 56 years. 56 years. This is what you got. That's all you need to know. All you need to know. A bookmark that didn't even cost them a dime to produce. This is what you got. Seriously, there isn't enough bad things in the world that I want to have happen to the Fisher family. I mean, right up to the point where I'm actually rooting for some of them to pass away. That's what I want to have. I mean, can we have the Fishers become so impoverished that they have to move into a cardboard box? Like, I would love that. I wish I could wish abject poverty on these sons of bitches. The biggest group of talentless, incapable, totally tone-deaf people you could ever imagine are the people who are running the Oakland A's. And I'll tell you right now, I had someone at the Coliseum who I know very well tell me that neither John Fisher nor Dave Kaval has set foot in that building all season long. These absent cowards. They told me that there have been death threats. Good. Did you expect anything less? Of course there are death threats. You are ripping the soul out of people. And look, absolutely, Oakland is partially responsible for this too. Let's not absolve the city of Oakland. I took Bart to Oakland for the first time in a long time. I took Bart to the game, and there is a view of some Oakland streets from Bart that make you shiver. I mean, holy shit. Oakland, clean your own city up. Holy shit. There are stretches of this used to look poor that have gotten a lot worse since the last time I've seen them. There's no doubt about that. But as always, the man with the most money in the room greatly affects how the room behaves. And the man who's pretending to have the most money in the room can't even really find a room to take his money. I mean, watch the A's screw this up. Watch something either strand them in Sacramento or delay Sacramento. I would not be surprised if the A's opening day next year was at the Coliseum. I really wouldn't. I swear to God, I wouldn't. Because I hope the Players Association says, no, we literally did not become major leaguers to come play in a minor league ballpark. You can build a new clubhouse. We're not doing it. We're not signing off on playing in this stadium. I hope that happens. I hope it happens. I really do. Then where does John Fisher go? There's only one place to go. Back to Oakland. Unfortunately, though, I think that Major League Baseball is so pot committed to the A's relocation, no matter where they relocate to, that the powers that be will see this through. Because the amount of egg on the face would just be, it'd be like a Grand Slam breakfast level of egg on the face if the A's actually had to skulk back to Oakland, hat in hand, and say, yeah, we're back. I mean, it would be great news, and it would also just be cataclysmically embarrassing. Not just for the A's at this point or John Fisher, but for Major League Baseball at large. Look, Joe Lacob would buy the team today. I know that. It just sucks. And believe me, Joe Lacob would do a lot better than this after 56 years. What the fuck is this? What is that? What is that? What is that? Here you go. 56 years. You get a piece of, I guess it's nice. What is that? Cardboard, plastic, kind of something. I don't know. Unbelievable. Steve, I love Ike sandwiches. Thanks, Damon. I'm glad, Steve. I'm glad I helped you find them. I really did. I'm glad. If you found them here, fantastic. Easy to dislike. Yeah, that's good. I don't care. Here's the thing. I ain't here trying to be liked by everybody. That means this show's actually good. It has not been scrubbed so vanilla and sanitary that everyone can consume it. This show is officially not for everyone. If any of this show makes you uncomfortable, I invite you to peace out. I mean, goodbye. That's cool. I'm not responsible for a radio station's ratings anymore. I don't care. I'm not here to do mass consumption. This is a boutique. You either like shopping here or get the fuck out of the store. That's how it works. Red Jet, love you, darling. All right. What else have we got going on? Oh, by the way, how about this? Since we were doing a little Bet US earlier on in the show. Okay, hold on. Since we were doing, I was telling you about some gambling early on in the show. And by the let me get my Powered By right back. I forgot to put this back. Boom, there it is. Powered by Bet US. Let me tell you right now that the Giants have had a less successful season than the Oakland A's if you were betting over-unders. The Giants over-under this season was 83.5 wins. They're sitting at 79 wins with 3 games left to play. The St. Louis Cardinals come into town to close out the season this weekend. The under has hit. You can cash that ticket right now. The Giants come in under. The A's, meanwhile, are 9 games over their over-under total, which is the 4th best over performance in all of baseball this year. So the A's have exceeded Las Vegas's expectations. Today is the final game in Oakland. Their season officially wraps up this weekend in Seattle. So they're going to be at least 9 games better than their over-under, depending on what happens here in these remaining games. But the over has hit. A's over. Giants under. And there you go. Again, that fact powered by Bet US. I wonder what the Warriors season over-under is. I guess I should figure that out before we officially start talking Warriors. And we will be talking Warriors sort of beginning next week. Monday is media day. I'll be doing Wake Up with Larry Krueger. You know, it'll be a Monday after a 49ers game, so we'll be giving you Wake Up on Monday. It better be a Wake Up after a win. And then there will be no 11 o'clock show Monday next week because I'm going to go to Warriors Media Day. So we'll take you behind the scenes there, crank out a couple good and interesting videos from there, hopefully, and bring you behind the curtain for Media Day. That's what we're going to be doing on Monday. What else is going on? The NBA season sort of gets underway. The WNBA season has all but come to an end now that Caitlin Clark has been eliminated? Caitlin Clark, I believe, played her final game of the rookie season in the playoffs. The Fever get eliminated. So look, the WNBA season is over for most people because Caitlin Clark's season is over. And if you don't mind me saying here, again, this is one of those, Damon, you're not very likable moments. I'm going to tell you what I really feel about this WNBA. The first year I've ever been interested, even a little interested in the WNBA, I got to tell you, ladies, you're a bunch of pains in the asses. It really, seriously, I mean, pretty obnoxious. It was a pretty obnoxious debut year of the WNBA, really feeling fame for the first time. I mean, it was 25 years of please pay attention to us. America's attention finally falls on the WNBA, and then it's basically like, oh no, don't pay attention too much to us, or don't pay attention to us like this, and we want the media to cover us this way, not that way. And I know there was a whole bunch of stupid, racial, dumb stuff that was thrown at the WNBA, and for whatever reason, they spent the entire season talking about it. Like, why don't you stop letting online trolls control the media and the narrative of your entire season? Unless, of course, there might have been some truth to, wow, these women really don't like Caitlin Clark, or they don't like this rookie class, or, it was the dumbest, most ham-handed race war in sports history. That was just a big yawn if you told me the whole way through it. And the whole Olympic nonsense that Caitlin Clark she can't come on this team because she hasn't been around here. She's the most important thing in your whole league, period, full stop. Here's the thing. For next year's WNBA season to be successful, all that happens is Caitlin Clark shows up. Like, you could have the WNBA in one airplane, Caitlin Clark in the other airplane. Which one is more important to land to the WNBA success? Because I would make an argument that everyone in the league could vanish tomorrow, and as long as Caitlin Clark was still around, you would have a WNBA. If we reverse that and said, so Caitlin Clark has gone to a monastery, she's going to become a Buddhist monk, and she's not playing basketball anymore, watch WNBA ratings crater and collapse. Like, you need this woman. What a weird, awkward, sort of wearing out your own welcome season the WNBA just had. Jesus. Like the entire band wanted to play Madison Square Garden. You get up to the stage at Madison Square Garden and you're like, wow, this is a lot of people, and some like us, some don't. Some are cheering, some are booing. We don't really like the booing. We don't know if we're uncomfortable up here. Like, dude. Like, seriously. I thought the WNBA had such a great opportunity, and it felt like they themselves tried to blow it on every single turn. It's just hand banana. Hand banana says Nike will not release a Caitlin Clark shoe because Aja Wilson's shoe should come first. Sure. Whatever. Yeah. I never heard that, like, oh, you know what? We're not going to release this shoe because the other guy's shoe's coming out. Well, what, more shoes? That's weird. I would say this right here. I've heard more and learned more WNBA names this year than any other year. Yeah, me too. Like, here's the thing. For the first time ever, I can even tell you what some of these teams' names are, much less the actual women in the game. The Indiana what's, the Chicago who's. I didn't know anything but the New York Liberty and the LA Sparks before this year. I really didn't. But just weird. iPhone Steven wants to know, how do I leave him a comment? Me? Well, however you type that is how you leave me a comment. iPhone 7. 7? Sven? Sveen? I just, what? Aja is Asia. Is it? Okay. Again, you know, I, I watched a little. I cannot help but watch any WNBA game and think like, geez, a halfway decent men's high school basketball team could come in here and win this game. Sorry. Here's how this channel works. I don't have to like everything. I don't have to pretend I like everything. I don't have to care about everything. I can talk shit about anything. And that's why this channel is actually valuable and growing. And there are more people watching it now than ever before. And thank you very much, because sports has been so sanitized and scrubbed free of any criticism or any, having fun or teasing anything, that it's getting boring, to be honest with you. It is Asia. Okay. Well, again, when you name your daughter after a Steely Dan album, I'm going to pronounce it the way that Steely Dan does it. Is that what it is? I don't know. But thank you, Michelle. See, Nathaniel, he's like, dude, big Steely Dan fans? Is that where her name came from? That's again, I'm sorry. I'm a 49-year-old white man. You put that word in front of me, I think Steely Dan. I don't think there's a woman who plays for the Las Vegas whatever's they are. By the way, speaking of Las Vegas, you know what's completely been lost in all of this A's conversation about why eventually it hasn't worked and all this stuff? I don't think Al Davis, who, by the way, Al Davis was not a friend to the city of Oakland. You can say whatever you want about Al owning the Raiders and blah, 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 blah. Al ruined that stadium when he built Mount Davis. Mount Davis 100% went into ruining that Coliseum, which 100% went into the we got to go somewhere else nature of the Coliseum. Had the Coliseum never seen Mount Davis, what a different place it would have looked. I don't think Al Davis gets enough criticism for breaking the business model that the Oakland Coliseum failed in over and over and over again. Sporticus. It was the heat of the moment. Telling you what. Yeah, there you go. Seriously, what an architectural disaster. You know what a lot of places can't really overcome? Architectural disasters. I mean, Mount Davis has all the charm of an airport hangar. And that was all Al. Al ruined that place. He went a long way into ruining that place. And look, he ruined his own team too, basically. And the nose-diving Raiders are still the nose-diving Raiders. We'll talk more about them. By the way, my pal JT the Brick is going to be stopping on by for a show a little bit later on. So keep an eye out for that. Little Bruce and Brick coming at you. Thing with Mount Davis, most of the time, those seats were never even used. Again, they built something that was so bad they couldn't even use it. That's all you need to know. What about Mount Davis? It only got in the way of a view. That's really what it did. It got in the way of a decent view. It took the ice plants out of the Coliseum. The East Bay Hills. Film of the Free. Yeah, you used to enjoy the hills. Nice little view there. Little speed brick. Hell yeah, little speed brick. Looking forward to that a little bit later on today. Joseph Sullivan, on this day in history, Damon proclaimed, "It's my house, and if you don't like it, you can get the fuck out." Yes. Yeah, that's kind of how it works. By the way, if I had to have been a teacher, I would have been a history teacher. And you are right, Joseph. We are officially here at the end of today's show. We are here for your day in history. Today in history. Happy 43rd birthday to the single baddest woman who ever decided to take up a country club sport. Happy 43rd birthday to Serena Williams, born today. Serena was a force of nature on a tennis court that women's tennis really never saw before. You know, everybody told you about Venus, and then, oh, never mind, Serena. That younger sibling has got someone to chase, someone to emulate, and it's never rare to see the younger sibling be the better athlete in the family, which is why I'm buying stock in Ozzy. I think Jack is going to be a little bit of an athlete, maybe. Ozzy is an athlete. There's no doubt. My youngest is going to be a linebacker. There's no doubt. Let's see. What else happened today in history that was officially historic? You know, it started in 1960, and we're obviously going through inceptions of it now. But the televised presidential debate was something that didn't exist until today, September 26th, 1960. The first televised debate, which was viewed by anywhere in between 85 to 120 million people, happened between John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon. The first ever televised presidential debate. And what is fascinating about that is if you listened to the debate on radio, you came away thinking Richard Nixon won that debate. But if you watched the debate on television, you came away thinking John F. Kennedy won that debate. And one of the reasons why is Kennedy presented so much better on TV because he wore makeup. Richard Nixon, you know, TV still in its kind of infancy. Richard Nixon decided, men don't wear makeup, not even on television, and he looked like death. He looked dour. He had his eyes like this, Richard Nixon and the jowls and all this stuff. Richard Nixon looked like crap. Kennedy looked like some fresh young Catholic daisy. And presented so much better on TV than Nixon did. But Nixon had a great debate too, and if you listened to it on radio, you thought he had won. So very interesting. Times have certainly changed. Today in 1969, if you'd like proof that times have certainly changed, it was the story of a lovely lady who was bringing up three very lovely girls. I mean, we all know this, right? The Brady Bunch premiered today on ABC in 1969. You want to talk about sanitized and scrubbed. That was the appeal. While America was at each other's throats in the height of raging Vietnam War and all this stuff, here came this fresh out of plastic, right off the store shelf family that had no problems at all other than, Marsha's broken nose. So while the world was burning, while America was burning, here are the Bradys. It's the single whitest show in the history of television. It truly is. No, I don't know. There's some other really, really white shows out there too, but that it definitely is in the top 5. Remember when I was able to, after the show ended, we'd go over to the AMP app and I would play you music that fit the theme of a show or a day or something like that. Well, let me share with you today in 1898, so just before the turn of the century, composer George Gershwin was born. Now, we don't talk a lot of Broadway or musicals or composers here, but I'm going to tell you right now, you could not have the Great American Songbook without George Gershwin. And please today, listen to Rhapsody in Blue. Rhapsody in Blue remains one of the greatest pieces of recorded music ever. It's incredible. Listen to Rhapsody in Blue. What a genius piece of music that is. And by the way, if you're a Fish fan, you can go ahead and listen to Bathtub Gin and appreciate the Paige Gershwin fill-in. You always get a little dun 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 in your Bathtub Gins. So, Rhapsody in Blue. Check it out, kids. I'll also tell you this, too. Check it out, kids. If you have not seen the movie Cool Hand Luke, you should watch it. Today, I forgot to write the date down, but today is the day that Paul Newman passed away at the age of 83. If you have never seen Cool Hand Luke, you need to see Cool Hand Luke, and you need to see it tonight. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. It's a guy movie. It's a prison movie. It's a movie about eating a lot of eggs, and you will appreciate it. It's a great movie. Cool Hand Luke. I cannot stress that enough. No man should ever go through his life without Cool Hand Luke. You need this movie in your life. It's a great movie. Finally, our last historical moment, as I've told you, I always appreciate captain's logs, ship's logs. It's why so much of our history is historically tied to nautical events because, ships kept logs. Today, in 1580, that's going back, right? 1580, that's going way back. After nearly 3 years at sea, English Admiral Francis Drake returned to Plymouth Harbor in England, completing his circumnavigation of the world. Again, I wish we could have told Francis Drake, who would then become Sir Francis Drake, that even though you just circumnavigated the globe in 1580, there is going to be morons in 2024 who are still insisting that the earth is flat. Even though Sir Francis Drake pretty much proved that it wasn't in 1580, we still got these morons saying the earth is flat. Anyways, for those of you who are Bay Area inclined, when he made landfall on the west coast of the United States, he did it somewhere around Point Reyes, which is about 30 miles north of San Francisco. And the reason that Point Reyes is in Drake's Bay, or Drake's Bay is, I don't know, is Point Reyes in Drake's Bay, or is Drake's Bay in Point Reyes? You discuss amongst yourselves. But the reason why it's called Drake's Bay is because of Sir Francis Drake. So there you go. A little history lesson with a Bay Area tie-in. And if that doesn't wrap things up nicely with a nice little bow on it, if that doesn't take care of you better than this, I don't know what else I can do for you today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back Friday morning, 9 a.m. with Kruger for a wake-up. At some point this evening, JT the Brick and I, maybe this afternoon, depending on when we can get it done, but JT and I are going to talk a little Niners, a little Raiders, a little goodbye Coliseum, some stories from there. I mean, a lot of JT the Brick's career happened in the Oakland Coliseum. So I thought it would be a great time to catch up with him. We'll do a little state of the NFL through 3 weeks as well, and that'll be an awful lot of fun. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you for watching today. And if you would please remember that sports don't build character, they reveal it. That would be fantastic. And like that, he's gone.